Hello, everyone. I have great news for seniors. A new bill has just been passed that is going to increase Social Security benefit for some people from $1,976 to $3,559. I want to give you all the details and, most importantly, let you know who is eligible for this historic increase in Social Security benefits. So, this bill just passed the Senate, and it is something that a lot of people have been waiting for decades. It is a particular disruption in the social security system that people have wanted because they have earned it, and it was something that was denied them. They've been fighting for it for 40 years, and now it's here. So let's see if you are eligible for this. If you're new to this channel, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, because all we do is bring you the latest news and updates about Social Security, food stamps, Medicaid, Medicare, and any personal finance issues or savings opportunities that will be helpful to seniors. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Let's get started. So, what is this about? Well, this is a 40-year battle that is going to cost $190 billion to implement. It affects government workers in states with huge boosts in their benefits. And here's the kicker: even though this is great news for some, it is also going to accelerate the depletion of the Social Security Trust Fund by 6 months. So I'm going to talk to you about that and what that means. So the wait has been long. Since 1983, government workers have fought against WEP's unfair reduction of earned Social Security benefits. Many worked second jobs or had to post retirement, like they had careers after they retired from the government service, and they paid into the social security system. However, organizations representing teachers, firefighters, police officers, postal workers have been lobbying Congress for 4 decades, watching multiple reform bills fall despite bipartisan support. For affected retirees, the WEP has meant receiving as little as half their earned Social Security benefits. Some teachers retiring after 30 years of service discovered their Social Security from previous work was cut by 40 to 50%. Many retirees work extended careers waiting for this change. Those who started teaching or police work in early 80s are now in their 70s and 80s and have lost significant benefits over decades of retirement. So there's a lot of injustice here that people feel because they work government jobs, they did not pay into the social security system because they're going to get a government pension, but they also work non-government jobs and paid into the social security system. But because of the way the law is written, they could not get their full social security benefit because they were getting the government pension. So let me explain how this came about. This historic repeal of the 40-year-old WEP provision addresses a long-standing issue with where government workers with previous pensions had their social security benefits significantly reduced. Some beneficiaries could see their benefits increase from the current $1,976, which is the average benefit, to $3,559. The repeal recognizes that these workers earn both their government pension and Social Security benefits separately through different employment periods. Effective January 2024, so that's when this is going to go into effect, with the first payment expected in February 2025, retroactively to January 2024. Specifically, this targets government work employees who've worked enough in the private sector to qualify for Social Security, which means that they've worked 10 years in the private sector to qualify for Social Security while they were working at the government job or after the government job or before the government job. And so they're eligible to get the government pension and their Social Security benefits. So who benefits? Well, primarily the public servants. The law affects police officers who work private security, teachers who had summer jobs, firefighters who had construction, and postal workers who had second careers. They must have worked at least 10 years in the private sector jobs where they paid into Social Security in addition to their government service. This includes government employees' spouses who previously had their benefit reduced or eliminated under GPO rules. Current retirees collecting government pension who also worked and paid into social security system will also see immediate benefit increase. So what does the current situation look like? The current national average for social security benefit is $1,976 monthly, which represent the typical retirement income for most beneficiaries. The benefit amount is calculated based on average lifetime earnings, which shows how work history directly impacts how much you get in social security benefits. Most recipients of social security benefits receive 50% replacement rate for their average earnings, which is the standard return on social security investment. A special provision exists for low income earners who receive 90% replacement rate to ensure adequate retirement for some vulnerable populations. So, what is this WEP repeal about? The repeal corrects a system that unfairly reduced Social Security benefits for government workers, sometimes up to 50% of what they earn through the private sector work. These workers fully earn both benefits, their government pension through their public service and their Social Security through the private sector employment where they paid FICA taxes. So this eliminates the double dipping argument that incorrectly assumed getting both benefits was unfair when in reality they earned them separately. Benefits this benefits those who worked mixed careers, combining government service with private sector employment. This also removes rules that reduce or eliminated spousal benefits for government pension recipients, previously cut by two-thirds of their pension amount. It restores full survivor benefits to widows and widowers of government employees who often lost most of all their spouses' social security benefits. It creates equality between government and private sector workers for spousal benefits calculations, particularly important for retired teachers in states where they don't receive social security from their teaching careers. What's the financial impact of all this? Its $190 billion cost reflects restored benefits to millions of government workers and their spouses. The direct impact on Social Security Trust Fund moves insolvency timeline from 2033 to 2032.5. It means that it moves it by 6 months earlier. Without any reform at all, the trust fund depletion triggers an automatic 20% cuts to all benefits, represents significant financial commitment, but corrects a long-standing inequality. So this WEP repeal is going to cost money, and as you can see, it's going to reduce the solvency of the Social Security Trust Fund by an additional 6 months. But it is also correcting a long-standing injustice for people who've worked into the system and were not paid what they've earned. Imagine all those people who, have worked and didn't get it and retired for maybe 10, 20 years and probably are dead, and nothing came of all that work they did in the private sector and paid into social security. Or some of them are in their 70s right now or in their 80s, and they could have been enjoying all this money, especially these last couple of years where cost of living is so high. They could have benefited all this, but they didn't because of this law. So it's been 40 years in the making. People have been fighting for this, and finally it's here. So the implementation timeline, the benefits will be calculated retroactively starting from January 2024, ensuring eligible recipients don't lose out on entitled benefits. Well, they're not getting all of it, but at least they're getting some since it's going to be retroactive. The Social Security Administration expects to begin issuing new payments around February or March 2025, allowing time for system updates. Recipients don't need to do anything. The Social Security Administration will automatically recalculate benefits using existing information. Eligible recipients will receive a lump sum payment covering the retroactive period from January 2024 to when the new payments begin. As I mentioned, there will be no action required on your part. So if you're eligible for this, you don't have to do anything. They will just send you the lump sum payments, and then after that, they will continue the regular payments. So if you compare the current versus the new benefits, under the current system, the average monthly benefit for Social Security is $1,976. I said average, which represent a 50% replacement rate of lifetime earnings. With the new 90% replacement rate, affected workers could see up to $3,559 monthly. This represents a significant increase in monthly income for the affected groups, potentially transforming their retirement security. This disparity creates a situation where workers with identical earnings histories have received different benefits solely based on their state employment. Now, during the debate to pass this bill, there were other things that Congress wanted to sneak in. For example, they wanted to increase the retirement age to 70 from 67. Remember, it's been increasing from 66 to 67 in recent years, and now they want to push it to 70. Part of the reason is that it's to help solve the Social Security Trust Fund issues. Something has to happen, one of two things or both. Either they're going to increase the retirement age or they are going to raise more Social Security money through taxes. It means that increase the FICA rate or do both. But the system cannot continue the way it is. Otherwise, come 2032, benefits are going to see an automatic 20% cut if nothing is done. The president has explicitly stated that he will veto any increase in the retirement age. This maintains the current system and the current structure, so nothing has changed with the retirement age. But believe me, they're going to try in the next Congress to try to do that. During the debate, there was strong bipartisan support with 72 votes in the Senate. Senator Ted Cruz of Texas proposed an alternative plan with partial fixes at lower cost but was rejected. Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia raised concern about the fiscal responsibility and the trust fund impact. The debate centered on balancing fairness with fiscal responsibility. Without changes, the Social Security Trust Fund is projected to be depleted by 2033, creating a critical timeline for action. After depletion, benefits would need to be cut by between 20 to 23% to match incoming payroll taxes. The new law's $190 billion cost accelerates this timeline. Some proposals could lead to even more severe cuts to Social Security by as much as 33% by 2033, highlighting the urgency of addressing the system's funding challenges. So here's the impact to the trust fund. 2033 insolvency date, automatic 20% cuts. So if you're receiving $20,000 in Social Security benefits, it becomes $1,600. If you're receiving $3,000, it becomes $2,400. There's no current legislative solution proposed for long-term fix to this issue, none that I've seen on the horizon. But as I mentioned, the new Congress with Republican control have been eyeing Social Security and Medicare, especially the newly created Department of Government Efficiency with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. They are looking at government waste. Well, when you look at the government funding, when you look at the government budget, the place, if they're not cutting military spending, entitlement programs, and Social Security and Medicare are the places where they're going to be looking. Because even though politicians make a lot of noise about cutting spending, they want to go cut food stamps. They want to cut Medicaid. They want to cut Social Security. They want to cut money because they think that those are the low-hanging fruits when actually those are the things that impact people's lives the most. So keep an eye out for this because Congress is going to be making a lot of noise about cutting spending, and they're going to look at places where they know people are not going to fight or people don't have powerful voices at the table, and it tends to be things that affect low-income families, things that affect seniors, and it's cruel, but that's what they like to do. So federal spending jumped from 3.5 trillion to 6.1 trillion in 2023. So if you compare the federal spending from 2023 to 2013, it's pretty much almost doubled. National debt is at 104,000 per American, including children. Interest payment on debt now exceeds defense budget. So think about that. The amount of money the government spends to service interest on the debt that the government has is more than defense spending together. And it's been 22 consecutive years of spending more than the revenue they are bringing in. So there is a reckoning that's going to come, and where they're going to get the money from, as I have mentioned, is going to be things that affect the poor or benefit the poor. So in terms of the WEP, this is going to affect different states differently. A California worker will be eligible for the 90% replacement, while Arizona will be 50% based on just how their pension systems are created. So there's new privatization proposals on the table to privatize Social Security. That's a debate that is coming. The Social Security system needs immediate solution to address funding. One of them is to increase the FICA rate or increase the retirement rate. We will see what happens. I will bring you the latest news as I get it, but I'll keep a close eye on this because 2025 is going to be a year where they're going to want to cut some spending and propose tax cuts that goes unfairly to people who don't even need it. But that's how they've operated. So keep an eye out for what's going to come in 2025. So, what do you think about the Social Security increase? If you're not getting an increase, I know a lot of people have been impacted by inflation. Do you think Congress should address other areas of Social Security issues, especially the fact that Social Security hasn't kept up with inflation over the last 10 years? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you're new to this channel, subscribe, hit the like button. We appreciate your support. And until I see you in the next video or my next live, thank you for watching.